the police in my hood.
What's up, everybody, and welcome back to the greatest show on YouTube, Three Black Heathen Show. Hey, listen. We're here to talk about. We have a plethora of subjects, but our main three subjects. Of course, we're going to talk about how intelligent design is not so intelligent, basically how stupid it is and how pseudo it is. But before we get off into that, because we have a lot, because it basically jump started with my God of the Gaps video a couple of weeks ago. True Empiricism, he hit me up on it, said he wanted to discuss it. A lot of people think, I guess, I had time to actually prepare for debate, but you know how I do. I don't care about preparing for debates, especially when I'm going against people like creationists and stuff like that. So it was light work. It was light work. I just called Nate up and said, hey man, let's pick a night, whatever. I didn't prepare for nothing. So I didn't actually know he was going to talk about ID per se. But anyway, for the most part, this is how I prepared. And we had a debate, some of you all, and thanks a lot of y'all for actually watching that debate and giving your insight on it. But anyway, after that, Nate decided to go into the after show. They had after show. I had to actually go do an event. And Nate went into the after show with True Empiricism and I guess more other theists, other Christians. And it didn't turn out too good. And so Nate winded up particularly making him trip over his own logic and thinking. It was terrible. I don't know if Nate got the video. He could probably play it, but it's just like a little bitty minute and a half video.
Oh, you want me to play the video? Damn, you should have told me to set the clip up before to play the clip.
Yeah, we should have actually played the video, but it's okay. It's okay. You know, if you have time to get it. But,
I'm getting it right now. Go ahead.
Yeah, do that. Go ahead. I keep talking. Anyway. Nate made this video. It basically, it was a comedy skit, but it was real. it was actually showed how thought, how warped. I mean, I'm not just going to say True Empiricism. I want to say anybody that's basically ever talked to anybody that's a proponent of intelligent design, you can actually see how warped their thinking is. And basically, Nate just he basically outed that. Much better than I did in our discussion.
Oh wow, you thought that was even better?
Yeah. You did it in like a minute. So it was really good. Basically, how you talked about the trees, basically man-made trees, and just replaced man-made trees with turbines. And of course, he tripped True Empiricism up, and True Empiricism didn't like it. But anyway, we're going to talk about ID and those papers that he particularly brought that he was talking during our discussion really are fake papers. Like I told him, they were fake papers. They're not they're not scientific journals or peer reviewed. They're just things from people like Discovery Institute, people like Michael Behe, proponents of these pseudo particular scientists, proponents of ID, who of course is going to say things like the bacteria flagella and things like the ATP. These things, they're just like turbines. But first of all, no one agreed to say that they're turbines. To say something is a turbine and to say something is like or work like a turbine is totally two different things. So this is the point I was trying to make. Then I said, man, only turbines we know are man-made turbines. Anything else, then you want to try to agree on the terminology. I mean, we don't have to agree to you that these particular natural things are turbines. We know what turbines are. They're man-made. But anyway, before we get off on that and actually show how stupid intelligent design is, we want to say, I want to talk about George W. Bush Jr. Senior, excuse me.
Yeah, 41.
Right, 41st president. Now, So I'm just going to go on and switch, and then we'll get back to ID later.
Yeah.
Now, growing up in the 80s, and me and Nate, we're the same age basically. Yeah. Growing up in the 80s in the black neighborhoods, we kind of looked at the Reagan-Bush administration as a devilish type administration, basically, because that was a crack era.
That's true.
That's true. Yeah, that's true. It's just true. Just being true. So we never had a great as a youth. I never had a great opinion of George Bush Sr. But when I got older, and I recognized just the 4 years that he did, I had to put all of that other stuff to the side and just recognize from what he did. Come to find out, he really was a good president. Now I'm not speaking for Reagan. You know what I'm saying? I mean, Reagan is dead. I can't speak for Reagan. The things he might have did, or everybody, all politicians are crooks. So everybody knows Reagan. Everybody know the Contra thing. Everybody remember that Oliver North stood up and took all the blame for Reagan. Actually saved Reagan's legacy. But everybody know Reagan was doing a lot of drugs was coming into the community during that time. Did Reagan know about all this? I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure. But we're just talking about Bush. What I do admire about Bush, and I actually got a chance to meet Bush. I just got a chance to meet him when I was going to Tech. He didn't come off as a real arrogant racist or nothing like that to me. But the thing that I actually respected about his presidency is basically what he did as far as for Germany. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And what he wanted to actually do as far as peace-wise. The thing that he did, which was a big thing, really. It was a huge thing, and you remember this, Nate. The
end of the Cold War.
Right. And Russia, of course, Russia hated him for him. Putin definitely hated him for it. But for him to stick his neck out there, because most Americans really didn't care. I mean, just to keep it real, most Americans really didn't care about Berlin Wall. They play like they did, but they really didn't. But what Bush did was a wonderful thing. And the thing about it, he didn't try to brag about it. He didn't make it like it was a real important thing. And Obama was talking about it earlier on 60 Minutes. And he was talking about how he didn't, Obama put it he put it in a way like he didn't spike the ball. In other words, he didn't brag about it because he could have caused a whole bunch of bloodshed. But if you remember that particular time period, George Bush Sr. kind of calmed it. He calmed the seas. He said, hey, man, this is what we need for unity, economy. He stopped a lot of bloodshed during that time, and the wall came down. Without, it was a sweeter thing than we thought it would be. We thought it was going to be real rough. We thought it was going to be killings and all types of stuff, and it wasn't. So I think history is going to actually respect him for that. Of course, he didn't win in '92 against Clinton because he made his own party mad.
No, but don't forget Ross Perot. He had an actual viable third-party candidate.
That's true. Too. That's true. Ross Perot ran. Ross Perot got like what 20% of the vote, right?
He got like a huge chunk of his vote. If Ross Perot didn't run, Bush would have.
Yeah, I think you're right because if I remember correctly, Bill Clinton only won like 42% of the vote, if I remember right, and Ross Perot got like 20-some%, and I think George Bush Sr. got like 36, 37%. So you're right. If Ross Perot wouldn't have ran, of course, I think Bush would have beat him. But I also think the Republican Party turned on Bush at that time because if you remember this, you remember when he ran in '88 after Reagan had went out.
Yeah.
He promised that he would never raise taxes, but eventually he found out the hard way that he had to raise taxes, and the Republicans basically hated him.
But he raised taxes on the rich, though. He didn't raise taxes on everybody.
But guess what though? He lost. I think he lost that election because of that.
Yeah. Well, I think it was a multitude of factors. One factor was the broken promise, but still, if you're telling me you got a viable third party, that's what like with Gore and what's the guy from the Green Party in Florida? Gore lost by like 500 votes, but the Green Party candidate got like 50,000 votes. You know what I'm saying? Those people wasn't voting for Bush. They was probably going to be voting for Gore. So, they cost third-party candidates that are viable cost you elections. That's just what happens.
But I think Ross Perot probably the strongest third party. I haven't seen a third party that strong as Ross Perot since, though.
That's true. That's true.
Most of the ones we've been seeing in the last 10, 15 years, they've been weak as water. I don't even think they've been putting a dent in it. Well, your boy from the Republican Party who actually ran against Trump in the primaries, he was pretty. What was his name out of Ohio? You
John Kasich? Kasich?
Yeah, Kasich. John Kasich had a pretty good, he was really an independent, but he, I guess, eventually went on the Republican ticket. I think all in all, I think George Bush Sr., just from that alone, just from what he did with Germany, uniting Germany again in Europe, I think he would be considered one of the best presidents.
But I would say though, it wasn't all, and even though I know this is, the man's not even dead 24 hours or whatever, but I just got to acknowledge the fact that he was one of the founding members of the war on drugs. You remember he was the one that stood up on TV, held up the crack, and was these motherfuckers is going to jail. You know what I'm saying?
He did that in '88.
Yeah, and he was and that sent to that started off that generations of black men headed to prison for low-level drug offenses.
RICO Act started,
and then Clinton. Then don't forget Clinton doubled down on it. With
Clinton did worse. So. Clinton did worse than any other president when it came to executive orders. And it's funny how black people accepted Clinton as the first black president and didn't realize exactly the things he was actually doing.
The crime bill sent a generation of black men in jail.
Yeah, it was much worse than George Bush Sr. You're right. Much worse than George Bush Sr. So,
and he was a Democrat.
And he was, that's what I'm saying. And he was getting head in the White House. So, I mean,
that's why they were saying he's the first black president. He's getting head in the White House.
Well, they said he was the first black president also because you remember he was on Arsenio Hall blowing trumpets and shit. So, black people are so happy with music and shit. It's like if you do anything musically inclined, we just automatically adopt you as black. Only one we don't adopt is being black is Justin Bieber. We don't like Justin Bieber. Everybody else is black to us when they musically inclined like that. But I still think. But you're right. The crime bill, he made several. I mean, I don't think there's no president that didn't make some mistakes while he was in office. You know what I mean?
That's true. And let's not forget, up against the Clintons, I think he's starting a war on drugs. That's one thing. But I also think Nixon? That Nixon. I think Nixon played it, but I think Bush's whole "we got to be as tough as possible on drugs." It just changed the game. It changed the game, and it was the '80s, early '90s, so it was really bad. And I know they were trying to do something, and that's what they thought the best thing to do was to more or less militarize the police. But it is what it is. It is what it is.
Yeah, that's why I think it's kind of hard now. His son, I mean, I think he only did 4 years. His son did 8. I think he was a better president than his son, of course. I think he was smarter than his son. I think he knew politics better than his son. But then his son is like compared to the president saying now, his son is like Stephen Hawking. So I mean,
oh, damn right he is. Yo,
right.
You know what though? I do want to say this though about George W. Bush. I'll say this. I think his presidency was probably one of the best presidencies, in the past, in our lifetime, for instance, even better than Reagan's. And the reason why I say that is for a couple of reasons. I think he did something more courageous than most politicians would do today, yesterday. Obama, more than I would trust Obama to do, or whoever, you name him.
Okay.
I think he did something very, very powerful. And that was when he knew the fact that he made that campaign pledge not to raise taxes. And when he saw the debt the way it was and where it was going, and he decided to say, I'm still going to raise taxes, even though I know this is likely going to cost me the presidency. But I'm going to do it because it's for the better of the country, not for my political career. He did it. And
that's what I'm saying.
And it cost him the presidency, but he did it because he believed it was the right thing to do. And he even says he thinks that was his worst mistake, but he would still do it again because he thought it was just the right thing to do. And you gotta tip your hat to somebody who has that type of moral fortitude to say, I'm doing this because I think it's the best thing for the country, not for me politically.
And you got to think about that. You're right. You put that in perspective. He was already rich. Think about this, Nate. He didn't have to do that.
Yeah,
he was already rich. Him and his family was straight forever. He didn't have to do that. So for him to stick his neck out there and go against his own word, that shows, I think that shows a good, like you say, that shows a good moral autonomy from him. That shows that he wasn't just about his party or about rich people or about, he took a chance. He said he went against his own damn word, you know, and said, hey man, the country kind of going in a bad way. But think about it. Anytime the country, when we talk about economy, this any country, when it's going in a like in Paris, this is going to bring us to our next discussion about Paris. When you see a country actually going down economically, most of the time it's only hurting the people at the bottom. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And whatever you might want to call the people in the middle, even though I don't think we have a middle class anymore, but I guess back then we had a middle class. You know what I mean? So them were kind of the only people that really hurt, like the poor, the poor class and middle class. So for him to make you know what I'm saying? I don't think we have a middle class anymore. Maybe, I don't know. I doubt it.
Well,
but
I know if you're in Michigan and Ohio when they just closed down all those plants, I know you're gonna. That's what you're gonna be feeling right now. That they ain't got
that's terrible, man.
And you know they were promised. You vote for Trump, we keeping everything open, and now they voted for Trump and lost their jobs even faster because of Trump.
Wow, you're right, and that's not good. All those tariffs. We talked about that before.
But you know what? I got to disagree. I think it is good. I think if you voted for Trump and you now getting fucked by Trump, then good for you. You know what I'm saying? I'm just keeping it real. Those soybean farmers who all voted for Trump, and now they got now they can't ship the soybeans out. They gotta keep them on farm. Good for them. You know what I'm saying? Those people in West Virginia who voted for Trump and now is losing Obamacare. Hey, you voted for the man who said they're going to end Obamacare. You should have thought about that before you cast that vote.
So what? Let me ask you this, and I don't want to change. So I don't want to get on Trump at all. But what is the latest on Trump care? What we at? Trump 4.0? What is going on with Trump care?
Listen, Trump care is what it is. The problem is now is the Republicans have a problem, and the problem is that even the most conservative studies out there shows that universal health care is cheaper than the current system. Even the most conservative, 52% of Republicans want universal health care. 70% of the American people want universal health care. Right. So right now, and this year, health care was on the ballot. Most people, voted based on health care. Health care was the biggest issue. So with that being said, universal health care is right down the pipe. We just got to unfortunately wait it out because right now it's just a storm. There's too many people out there understand that universal health care is just makes sense in the long run. You know what I mean? Right.
You're right about that. But it's an ugly situation, man, because Trump care is, from my last dialing in on it, it was garbage. It was terrible. They changed it like 3 or 4 times, I think.
Yeah.
It was Trump care, then it was Trump care 1.0. They threw that away. Then it was Trump care 2.0. They threw that away. So I'm just trying to, see what the hell going on. But this takes us, because I don't want to talk about Trump, because I don't think Trump will ever be remembered like George Bush Sr., like George Bush Jr., like Obama, like not even Clinton. I don't think he would have a respect unless he makes a total 360 before his 4 years up. And I very sure to doubt that, because he's just an arrogant dude. He's not the type of guy to apologize, I don't think that could do something like that. So basically, he's just stupid, and he'll probably go down as stupid.
Well, I think he's going to be impeached, man. I think impeachment might be in his cards.
Right. Maybe. I don't know. I'm not looking forward to it. I think he's going to probably complete his 4 years and just lose. Then again, I don't know who he's going to lose to, because the Democratic Party, I don't see nobody.
Man, you're taking us way off track now. Listen.
Well, I'm just saying, I don't see nobody that can actually challenge him. I hate to say this. It just show you how bad politicians. I don't see nobody that can challenge him from. Clinton need to sit her ass down somewhere.
Oh yeah, she need to go. It's over.
Bernie need to sit his ass down somewhere. I don't see nobody else like Booker. Maybe. I don't know.
Oh, I forgot you like Cory Booker. I'm not a Cory Booker fan, but it's all right.
I mean, but who else you got? Who else you got in the Democratic Party that can challenge you?
I don't know. That's sad. That's a sad state of affairs. But
what's the older white man?
That was the problem that we had before. It was like, who else you got except Clinton, and she lost. You can't. I don't think you could put that type of candidate. One that you vote for, or one that you just are voting against. Right now, we can't hope to get enough people who just want to vote against Trump. We got to get people to vote for somebody.
Exactly. That's the point I'm making. And I don't see the Democratic Party producing nobody worth nothing. But, okay, enough of that.
Well, hold on. Here's the clip. I got the clip queued up. So let me play.
Oh yeah,
this clip
yeah.
on.
Play the clip.
All right. So this is the clip of True Empiricism last week. All right. So let me present the clip. What's going on is that so after Imp and True had their discussion, I'm gonna call it a discussion because you guys had a discussion. It
Yeah, there wasn't no debate. You're right.
I went into True's after show as Imp said earlier, so we was just chilling. And next thing I know is that so True Empiricism, he's always talking about the turbine. So I was like, I was like, well, listen, let me see if I can give an analogy that he can understand. So I'm like, yo, you know how we can build fake trees, just like fake turbines, fake trees.
Right.
And I explain how they have chlorophyll and they do everything that real trees do. They're fake trees, but we can build them. They actually build them now. And then because now we can build fake trees, it's just like the fake turbines, how they look like the real like the turbines in the cells. These fake trees look like fake trees, and we can make the inference that all trees are designed. Now, True Empiricism forgot a couple of things. Number one, his argument is that all the trees are designed. His argument is all life is designed. So when I said, can you make that inference that trees are designed? He said no. I was refuting his first argument with that answer. But then he went farther and explained why you can't infer fake trees lead to us being able to make fake trees can't lead to real trees being designed. And it was a very good refutation. But it refuted his own point, the points that he's been making for years. So that's exactly what you'll hear. You'll hear True Empiricism explain to you why his argument for design doesn't work.
Okay, hey, and by the way, before you play that video, Muta Badesnak said, what the fuck is drag? We don't know what drag. I think drag wife got him on punishment or something. So, I think Miss Drag got him on punishment. So I don't know. Maybe one of y'all will hear from him or something. We tried to reach out, but we don't know what drag at right now. But go ahead, man, with the video.
All right. Turbines that you just mentioned gives evidence for intelligent design.
Okay, well, all right. Well, it is a turbine. There are many articles out there that you can find regarding the ATP synthase and its operation and function. It is an energy utilization system. Turbines universally are an energy utilization system. It has many of the same parts, such as a stator and a rotor, like other turbines have. And of course, different turbines differ, obviously. Pelton turbines, steam turbines, can range to be very, very complex. And some turbines might just operate on water itself, having only these universal parts, stator, rotor, and so on. The end product of a turbine is to try to use mechanical energy, kinetic energy, to produce electrical energy. It's an energy utilization system. And that's exactly what the ATP synthase is. Right. Based on every single instance in the past where turbines have come from, they have always and only, as far as our knowledge goes, come from an intelligent agent. There is absolutely no known place where a turbine can come from other than an intelligent agent.
So because right now, we can create trees, like these fake trees, and it does the same things as real trees. They put chlorophyll in them and they filter sunlight. It's actually pretty amazing, but they're fake trees. Right. But with this reasoning, we would say, since we can build fake trees that do everything real trees do, all the real trees are actually designed. Is that the proper inference? Are all the real trees designed?
No. I would say that inference is not necessarily proper by itself, no.
We don't build real trees. We build material that tries to mimic the properties of a tree, but we don't build trees. Trees are very complex organisms that have basic unit cell structures like every other organism on the planet.
And so we can say they're artificial trees.
Well, what I would say is replace tree for turbine, and then you've solved the problem. Because right now, we can create trees like these fake trees, and it does the same things as real trees. They put chlorophyll in them and they filter sunlight. It's actually pretty amazing, but they're fake trees. But with this reasoning, we would say, since we can build fake trees that do everything real trees do, all the real trees are actually designed. Is that the proper inference? Are all the real trees designed?
No. I would say that inference is not necessarily proper by itself. No.
We don't build real turbines. We build material that tries to mimic the properties of tree, but we don't build trees. Trees are very complex organisms that have basic unit cell structures like every other organism on the planet.
And so we can say they're artificial turbines.
Well, what I would say is replace tree for turbine, and then you've solved the problem.
You couldn't do that though.
So you couldn't do that. You couldn't replace trees with turbines. So that's the beef. So he says he said something about the video being dishonest, but I don't know. I don't know how you can come to the conclusion that this is dishonest. You know?
Listen, this is the point. This is point blank, man. When you trip them up with the trees and these ATPs that they call turbines, that they compare to turbines, and he just contradicted himself. He said it doesn't work like that. Well, if the trees doesn't work like that, then what makes you think these natural turbines, what you call turbines, can work like that? Then you're right. Your total argument is that everything is designed by your ghost god, whatever you think it is. You know what I mean? So it's you know, to believe in intelligent design, man, it's one of the worst. You know, it's terrible because you have to go through so much to try to explain this hidden God, this hidden creator, that you basically, and you remember the talk we had. He had to admit, that, yeah, of course I'm a Christian. Okay, so you believe that this intelligence is your Christian biblical God that you can't seem to connect the dots to. Well, yeah. So I mean, it's ridiculous, man.
But they'll complain about that. Like that's one thing they complain about. The fact that if I say, oh, so it's the Christian God, and they'll be like, no, we're just arguing for any general designer. Then I'll go through the exercise. I'll be like, all right, any general designer. So I'm like, that could be Allah, or that could be Juju on the mountain. They're like, no, it can't be none of them. Why not? Because none of them exist. I don't believe in none of those gods. Agreed. None of those gods exist. So it can't be Juju. It can't be Buddha. It's got to be one guy. The Christian God. So if the design is true, it can only be this one guy. So if I can prove this one God doesn't exist, that means the designer can't exist because that's him. That's the guy.
It's sad, man. It's sad that the hoops you got to jump through to get to this imaginary God of the Bible.
Yeah.
And it's just bad, man. It's really bad. And it's funny to me, and do you have the papers to show about the bacteria flagella?
All right, yeah. So which one do you want me to show first?
Show the first one if you like.
Right.
How about the irreducible complexity.
So explain. Well, what? Because I don't know if his argument is irreducible complexity. Because his argument is about it looks designed. That means therefore it is designed. It's like something stupid like that.
Well, see, this is the thing. The whole ATP, the whole system of what they consider to be a turbine has all of these other inner workings. One, you have these different things, what we call flagellas. You have a bacteria flagella. Okay, you have the iontine flagella. You have different type of systems that they say shows irreducible complexity, and they don't. And these are what these papers basically say. All of these scientists from National Academy of Sciences who have debunked all of Michael Behe papers and have debunked through scientific journals, all of these things that these people are saying that, well, if we can produce irreducible complexity, this shows that it's designed. And it doesn't show that it's designed. You know what I mean? It has nothing to do with the designer. Everything around you, even in some things in evolution, we can say, look, designed. You know what I mean? So if you want to try to picture something as being designed, I mean, even certain steps, but the difference between, and I tried to explain this is true, and it went over his head. But the difference between evolution and the facts about evolution and his hypothesis of intelligent design is that evolution actually can produce results. You know what I mean? It can be falsified. That's actual results. It's things that can be tested with evolution and cannot be tested. I mean, and that can be brought back for answers.
But they'll argue with you with that. They'll say it can't be tested.
How can they argue with that?
They'll say it can't be tested. It can't be. And you know, it's like they talk out of both sides of their mouth too. Like if you ask true empiricist, is microevolution true? He'll say yes, it's 100% true. It's laboratory tested.
He say that.
He'll say that. But then you'll say, okay, so that means then you'll say so evolution is true. Oh no, macroevolution is not true. And I'm like, you know, that's just like saying 1 + 1 is true. But since I can't count to 1 trillion to 1 trillion, then that means that 2 trillion, 1 trillion plus 1 trillion equals 2 trillion. I can't ever prove that that's true because you can never count to 1 trillion. It'll take us like a billion years to ever count to that far. So,
this is the thing. This is why I say that they use the God of the gaps too, as you actually seen in our discussion, because science has, and this is why I say it's pertinent to the gods of the gap argument, because 50 years ago, 60 years ago, there was probably no Christian would have believed in microevolution. 100 years ago, they wouldn't believe in that. They're forced to believe in it now because science have thrown so many facts in their face. So every time science steps up, every century, every so often, then the church changed their ideas. They have to jump in line with things they know. They can't just say, you know, well, no, that's false. Except people like creationists who still just go against all the sciences and say the earth is 6,000 years old. Those are just straight retards. But I'm saying besides them, we're talking about just the majority of theists, majority of Catholicism. You know, these people have jumped in line in the last several hundred years. So
facts first, baby. That's why it's facts first.
Microevolution, they have to say, yeah, we accept microevolution now, but we don't accept macroevolution because we wasn't here to observe it. And this is the funny thing about he talked about inference. And all of these people, these ideas of creation, always talk about inference, not direct evidence or scientific, but they always talk about inference. And I always ask them, then, you know, how do we know a subatomic particle exists? How do we know? No one has never seen a subatomic particle. If you ask the average Christian or any religious person, do subatomic particles exist? They're going to say, yeah. Why do we know? How do you know that a subatomic particle exists? You know, we know this through what we call telltales, because we see telltales in chambers of cloud smoke. This is the only way we know how subatomic particles exist. Now, the average person has never seen a subatomic particle, but they accept what physicists and science books say through what we can show and test. You know what I mean?
Well, think about it. Even this. Well, go ahead. Finish what you're saying.
Basically, I'm saying in science there are things that we can know through inference, through, you know, like I said, we don't have direct. We can't see a subatomic particle. We weren't there to see transitional fossils from Africanus afarensis to Homo erectus, all the way down to Homo erectus. But we have the fossils. We have the fossil record to show us that macroevolution is real, or what Darwin explained as descension. You know what I mean?
You know, that's like, but you know, it's almost like saying, I don't believe Antarctica, the continent Antarctica exists, because stupid. I've never been there, and I'm never going to see it. I've just seen maps, and people have described it, and other people have been there, but I've never been there, and I'm never ever going to be there. So that means it don't exist. You know, it's that type of reasoning that you gotta have to worry about. You know what I'm saying?
But you know, the thing I like about intelligent design, though, because they actually try to use science. They actually, they don't try to use science. Let me back that up. Yeah, they don't try to use science. They try to use the inference, or they try to make it seem as though they're using real science to make themselves seem like, well, see, our God is really real because we can actually use scientific tools to actually prove his existence. And then you ask them how, and then they go off into, well, see, this thing right here, it's like a turban.
but didn't the Dover trial end all this? I'm talking about, and I think a lot of people don't understand what happened with Dover trial. It was a case in federal court in Pennsylvania, and let's not forget, you had a creationist judge, a judge who believes the creation story, a Christian creationist judge too, who ruled not only against them, he crushed them. His opinion is he was named top 100 people of the year because of his opinion, and he went through everything and said that, and for instance, Mike B, he died totally crushed. I think that almost ended his career because
Yeah.
he couldn't. The judge said he couldn't come to the fact that what he was saying was wrong when they stacked a whole stack load of books in front of him. Said with all these books and novels, would you then say it hasn't been proven? He said no. And the judge said, a creationist judge said he's being unreasonable. And this is the guy who they're going to cite as, you know, the guy.
But that's who true empiricism kept reading from. People like Michael Behe, who is a known pseudoscientist fraud, and people like Stephen, what's the other clown?
Myers.
Stephen Myers, that clown, who wrote all these books about Darwin.
But one thing I do want to mention this though, and I'm sorry to cut you off, but Mike Behe teaches evolution. He doesn't teach intelligent design. His job at university, he's not teaching intelligent design.
I didn't know that.
He works at a university. They're not
Why would he
teaching
teach evolution if he's against evolution though?
No, well, he's saying he's even though he's against. It's weird because he believes parts of evolution are true. He's just talking about how, you know, the beginning, you know, how you have like a designer somewhere at the beginning, but he's a PhD. He believes he teaches evolution. He's not like
evolution is true, but God started it.
Yeah, like something like that. But he teaches evolution. He's not teaching intelligent design. You know, if you asked him, is evolution true? He's going to have a different answer than true empiricism. True empiricism.
Well, he's smarter than true empiricism. We just did that just for fun for the internet. But I mean, of course, I'm not going to compare Michael Behe to empiricism. Now, I'm not saying that. I didn't say Stephen Myers and Michael Behe was true empiricism. No.
Oh my God.
Oh my God. Hell no, I'm not making that. I'm not making that statement.
Oh, they go. Jesus the Lord is in the chat. Jesus the Lord was in the room. He felt the pain. You was in there, right, Jill?
Jesus Lord always feel pain. Look at Drag. They go Drag. Listen, Drag. Get in here, Drag. They go Drag. He is, man. Drag is in the house. Drag is, and this is who I wanted to ask about this because he had so much experience with TE. It's dark. Wherever Drag at is dark. They go to the light. And God said, let there be light. God said, let there be light. There you go. That's how it first happened. God said, let there be light. Some light just popped up.
I apologize, gentlemen. I am fashionably late, like a black person. So I figured, why not go for it? No, there's something going on with all of my notifications. I just got a whole bunch of everything. Like everything, people still commenting on stuff from 3 years ago, and copyright claims and shit. I don't know what's going on.
What?
But,
copyright
claims? I got a copyright claim on a video I did with G-Man called G-Man Bring Your Ass, and I just got a copyright. Like, look, I don't know who going back making copyright claims on shit. I just want notifications. I'm like, oh shit, what my notifications? So. Yeah, so that's why I'm late. I'm like, man, let's get my phone. I was like, Lord, okay. So, hey, man.
Hey, how you okay though, man?
Yeah, man, I'm good. I'm just I don't like being late, but I'd like talking about this topic.
Well, let us fill you in. And hey, Mr. Pluto, I see something in the chat too, y'all. Nate, Mr. Pluto the dog, who is our family. He says we're trying to get Jesus as Lord to define ID.
Good luck.
Well,
that's not going to happen, Mr. Pluto the dog.
Jesus
is not going to happen.
Jesus Lord is talking shit now, but when he was in the room with true empiricism, when he was getting jacked up, he was quiet as a mouse. I was like, is Jesus the Lord still in here? He was on hush. He had a hush mouth.
You said True was jacking him up, or somebody else was?
No, I was.
You got a hold of
him. And Jesus the Lord was in the room, and I had to hit him with the logic. He was on hush mouth. Mouth.
Oh man, I love that. Oh, that's what Rebecca was when I came in there nights ago. That boy, because I sat and listened to him for a little while, and I came in. That boy shut the hell up real quick. He said, "Oh,
that's terrible, man."
That's what I asked Jesus Lord. I was like, "Is he still in here?" You know,
Well, this is what you missed so far, Drag. We talked about. We still haven't talked about Paris yet, but we gave shout out to George W. Bush Sr. Talked about the history, the good he did with uniting Germany. So that's basically what we talked about. And we talked about our opinions of him actually growing up black in America, of course, at that time, which we know were harsh. But actually, we just went back. We just giving you a recap.
Mhm.
After the years after him, after he actually left off, we actually seen the good that he did. So, and you know the mistakes he's made. So that's basically what we talked about so far. Then we got off into this fake ass science called intelligent design, and how true empiricism and Nate. Well, of course, I had the discussion with him first, and then Nate went into the after show and actually made him say ID is fake and phony. But basically, he made true empiricism just trip up on himself, and I think True may be upset. But it's no disrespect, True. We're actually just keeping it 100. That's what we do here. We're not.
Yeah.
You know, we have you in anytime. It's not.
Because he had something to say. He had something because when I went in there and because I went and talked to him because one of my homeboys, I think you see him on my Facebook, was making some videos to True because he had asked True in his chat. He said, you know, who came up with this ID? He got mad. Oh, it don't matter who came up with it. I went in there and I gave him the link, you know, to my homeboy, and then he was like, "Oh well, Imp was supposed to hit me back up, you know, for a second round," and that's when I messaged you, and you were like, "Well, he need to send these links that he's supposed to send to me about these so-called studies." But throughout that conversation, he had said, "Well, I don't know if I'll be having another conversation with him because you know it's not like you know he knows." Anything about this topic, and I'm like, well, ain't that the pot calling the kettle black? I mean, that's funny as hell to me. That's real funny to me. You telling somebody else that they don't know something about a topic, huh? I said, okay, well, maybe you and Imp should talk about something that you really know, you know, and Imp might not know about, like biblical history. I don't think Imp know about that biblical history. Hey, you know what? So I'm trying to set that up because I don't think he know how much you know in some of these other areas. I don't think he's realized that yet.
I don't think True should talk to me on no subject, really. I don't think he should have a discussion with me on anything, honestly.
He do know something. Like, come on, you come on. If there's anything to do with dogs fucking, he knows it. Absolutely, he knows how to make dogs fuck, and he knows how to sell them to you.
See, I don't know about all that. Maybe he has a good conversation piece for him. I don't know, but.
Jesus is Lord. It's just I'm looking at the chat. Jesus is Lord. You typing so hard, man. It's funny because you get him in the room and it's just like you don't
say shit.
Like he. I think he was trying to troll the other night too because I was like, "Is anybody in here believe in Allah?" He's like, "I believe in Allah." And I'm like, "Oh shit, this is Christian believes in Allah." Then he tried to say it's something, and then back to hush mouth again. He said too much because he asked the question. So
but Jesus Lord, Jesus Lord ain't nothing but a troll. So I mean, but he's an okay troll sometimes.
Yeah,
but you can't take him serious. You can't take him serious.
So it's fam.
This is funny. This is something I like to do with all ID proponents. So Jesus is Lord, can you do something for me? I've never ever seen ever seen an ID proponent tell me what the hypothesis is for intelligent design.
Uh-oh. Jesus Lord probably don't even know what the hypothesis is, but he talks science.
You can look it up. I don't care. You can look it up. Tell me what the and mind you, you can't copy and paste off of Wikipedia for evolution. I'm sorry. You're gonna have to what is the hypothesis, the unique hypothesis for intelligent design? Because mind you, this is supposed to be what really happens. Since evolution is fake, you can't copy and paste. Okay, so tell me, define ID.
Well, Drag, one thing I wanted to ask you, I made a claim earlier. Mike Behe is a PhD, right? He's a PhD, he's biology PhD, right?
If I'm not mistaken, yeah.
And but at his university, he teaches evolution, right? Because I know somebody was saying that at his school, he doesn't teach ID, he teaches evolution.
Let me double check. I think his background's in biochemistry. Let me double check. University of Pennsylvania. Yeah, he is an American biochemist. Does he actually teach evolution?
Well,
I didn't think he taught evolution.
I'm not talking about teaching evolution, but like his research has to be based in that type of science, no?
No, well, so it loosely, like it's so if his area is biochemistry, he's not going to have a hell lot to do with evolution. Just like the stuff that I do, like it's relevant, like if we're having a conversation just conceptually, but as far as what you're going to be doing in a lab, you don't really have to touch it, right? Okay. So for him, he's just messing with chemicals and shit, he's in there making Kool-Aid, but his field would comport to all the same tenets of every other scientist in that field, which every other one of them is going to say, well, evolution as quite a bit to do with the natural world, and by association, what we're doing also jives with that. So he can't, on the one hand, say that, well, I'm relying on the scientific consensus and the body of knowledge that is out there currently and being built and that I use to get to where I am, but also then deny, a part of it, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, it's a weird game some of these ID folks create.
Well, I'm glad. You know what? I'm glad this came up because I haven't actually done any type of serious study of ID in some years. Because it's certain things like evolution, that's Drag, that's your thing. You love, that's your thing, biology and evolution and all of that. I don't really get off into those subjects with a lot of dodo birds, but I actually love the ID topic because it's one of those topics where actually pseudoscientists get to actually play like they in labs. And you talk about people like Discovery Institute and Michael Behe and Nate just talked about the the court case. But, regardless of the court case and what happened, it don't matter. They still pushing they still hate no evolution. They still trying to slip, even though they can't by law. But they still trying. They got all type of ways to try to hate on real science. And they trying their best to hate on real science and to still push this pseudoscience. So I think, there's probably something we still probably should bash in the head, just from time to time, just to remind them that you fake, you know what I mean? You know what I mean, Nate?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's fun to talk about. Like, it's not something that I particularly enjoy talking about. I just so happen to have dealt with it, more often than not, because most of the folks, when they hear ATP synthase, they don't know what the hell that sounds sophisticated or some shit. And it's like, it's really not. It's like if I told you kinetochore, or microtubule. Like I can say fucking words in biology too. like, y'all have no idea what the fuck I'm talking about.
Microtubule. What the fuck is that?
If you look up, it's funny. If True wanted to impress somebody, he should have picked the kinetochore. That's way more complex, in my opinion, than a fucking ATP synthase. And the one that he was talking about, consequently, wasn't even the one that he's been trying to really back as far as he got into it with Sam the scientist, and he had got a little giddy because he thought he had one up on him, and he started describing like the subunits, all little parts and shit like that. That was the wrong fucking one.
But that's the thing though, Drag. What all of that damn super talk, kinetochore and microbiology feed, super cookie coo, all this super shit, and when you want to name shit turbines and ATP, but all of this super talk gets you nowhere to explaining an intelligent designer, though.
It's a dog and pony show, man. It's a dog. I'm telling you right now. When I first heard this,
I kept asking him, yeah.
It's a dog, and you were right. Like if you thought it was just something that he just tossed out there as a conversation, you were right. You are absolute. When I first came on the scene and heard some shit like that,
Lucifer Almighty called it ATP mayonnaise.
Yeah, that's what we call it, because he puts it. Look, check this out. So we start calling it ATP mayonnaise because he puts it all over every conversation he's in.
I was wondering why Luke, because when me and True actually had our first discussion on it, Lucifer Almighty kept putting that. I'm like, what? I was trying to figure out what would I keep saying ATP mayonnaise.
Yeah.
And he kept saying ATP synthase.
Yeah, man. Yeah. So he put it on everything. He loved that shit.
Yeah, we should. That's got to be a game and shit. We're gonna watch this video, and every time we hear the word ATP synthase, we take a shot.
Miracle.
We probably dive the fucking alcohol poisoning.
Look, y'all know that we started making transcripts of his conversation with folks.
The transcripts are funny.
It don't make no sense, dude. I sent it to some of my old instructors, and they asked me what the fuck I sent them. Like, it's bad. Like, someone typed it up, like, grammatically incorrect shit, no punctuation. Like, we typed it how he says it, and it looks crazy. So we typed it up and kind of, retrofitted it a little bit better. Still don't make no damn, because he'll talk about chemistry, then he'll go into molecular biology.
But does he understand? But Drag, with your history with True Empiricism, does he actually understand scientific method and things that he was mentioning?
No, he doesn't.
So
really, he gets mad. He really does not understand this stuff. This is
Has
stuff.
he ever took anything up? Like, has he ever took up
class or anything like that?
Bruh, I love telling this story, man. Hold on, I'm about to get hyped. Go, can you give me a water, please, dear?
Don't tell me he failed biology.
Check
now
this
evolution
shit.
is not true.
It's better.
That's
it's
why he
better.
got the
So,
F.
so when you with one of your homeboys and he be bullshitting, just absolute bullshitting, and he's just telling the story. You like, yeah, man, check this out. So we asked this dude because he starts saying some crazy shit. He's like, True, you ever been to college or nothing like that, man? You know? He said, yeah. I have such a a high degree of education that I can't tell anybody because nobody would want to talk to me.
Oh wow.
That was the first claim. He said this, and Fiona Robertson can attest it because she was there too. He said this during one of the old Magic Sandwich shows. I think when we were doing a fundraiser for the Doctors Without Borders. So I said, I said, well, if that's true, we got Dr. Fiona Robertson here. We can look up her PhD. You got something high. You got a super PhD. You got a mega PhD. You got a PhD squared. You say, oh, well, I guess that's true. So fast forward a little bit. He tells folks later, he said, no, well, I don't have a PhD, but I do have some education in organic chemistry. As a matter of fact, I got a master's degree in organic chemistry. And I said, I didn't know you could get a master's degree like specifically in organic chemistry. And I said, so Sam, I think he forgot, Sam the scientist is from the same area that he lives in. He's actually from that area within 30 miles, if I'm not mistaken. So he started looking up all the universities that you could go to within the last few years because they post who their graduate students are. Not a name on there even close to it. So he said, hey, Ronnie, I checked out these universities in this area. Actually, I cast a wide net. Your name ain't on there. Ain't never been on there. So he finally said, no. So, no, actually, and then he gave us the real story. Check this out. This dude legit said, I went to college. I took a course in chemistry, but it was too easy. So I quit. And God told me to pursue a pathway in music. I have never heard someone tell me that chemistry was too easy, so they quit doing chemistry. Never, ever in my life, ever heard that from anybody.
Now listen, Drag, it's not that I don't trust you, but I feel like this story is so crazy, it's almost a faith-based claim to make now, to be honest with you. Like,
it's terrible, man.
That's
crazy. It's crazy. So let's do something fun. If y'all remember True doing this and saying this shit, put it in the chat if Drag is lying or not. Tell me if I'm lying or not, because he didn't deleted all them videos. Them videos
I'm not saying you do lying.
Them videos are gone. We remember it because it was so funny.
Crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. So he just basically a charlatan.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, he's admitted lately now, like he's been real with us that he actually has no formal education in
Lucifer Almighty just confirmed. He said T said it. Scientist Sam say Drag ain't lying.
Yeah, we all heard him say that because we were dying laughing. Matter of fact, Sam and I still have conversations that this dude really thought that we were going to buy that bullshit. Like he said it.
Sam says, "Remember the website." Don't tell me he had a website.
Yeah.
Did he have a website?
We're gonna have a whole episode, man. Me and Sam went over this. Y'all remember when people could get their own websites?
Of course.
When GeoCities and Angel Fire. Y'all remember that kind of shit?
Yeah.
This dude he actually paid money for a web domain, and it looked like one of them shit you create for free in 7th, 8th grade. It had one of them repeating backgrounds that cut off too soon at the bottom too. Oh my God. And it was this shit was it looked like my 7-year-old had typed it up. It was so badly misspelling and shit like that, man.
Do you remember the web address? I can look at it.
We had to go to the Wayback.
Hey man, hey. Deep Ashtray in the comments asked Jesus Lord, did he go to college?
Yo, you can't believe nothing Jesus Lord said. Like, yo, I'm telling you, he believes in Allah. I'm telling you. I'm like, I thought you was Christian. He's like, nah, well.
Hey, y'all remember Jesus Lord lied and said he taught science?
This dude said he's taught science, he's taught math, he taught like 4 other topics, and we were talking about insurance. He said he used to be an insurance adjuster during the summer, and like every topic that we talk about, he's either at an education, he's either taught it or he's either done it. It's crazy.
Oh, you know what? He's a Jamaican. He's a Jamaican.
He's a Jamaican.
Like from you remember on what's the show In Living Color?
The
Jamaicans.
Yeah.
He's a Jamaican.
Color,
Like I drive the taxi too, man. I drive the taxi too.
Like every every conversation without fail, this dude as a speciality. Look, y'all seen that one where I tripped this dude up because he started bullshitting me, and I knew he was bullshitting me. And I said, "Oh yeah, you must have heard about that Genova project, right? With Dr. Sephiroth and Dr. Cloud." Yeah, I heard about that. I said, "Man, that's a fucking video game. You ain't heard about nothing, lying ass motherfucker." If I'm lying, people in the chat,
man. He's a liar.
He's making shit up. It's like, why are you gonna do? You know, I'm gonna call you on it, and it happens every time somebody does that, and I start making shit. I use the same video game reference, and people know when they hear the names. I'm making some shit up just to see if they don't agree with me.
Listen, I want you guys to look at the chat. Now, Jesus is Lord now. He thinks he's saving himself by saying this, but he doesn't understand how more stupid his argument has become. Because we know the Abrahamic gods, Allah, Yahweh, they're all the same God. You know, they all represent, except they're three different paths to get to them. So if you dissing Allah, you actually dissing your own God because they're the same. They're both Yahweh. And just, you know, and the Abrahamic God. So he's
different. It's just different in language.
Yes. So he puts here that he says, because remember I had told him about, he said he believed in Allah. Now he says he believes Allah is Satan. So if he believes Allah is Satan, how does that make any sense? Because he believes the Christian God is true. He's a Christian who says he believes Allah is Satan. So does he not know that he's calling his own God Satan?
No, he don't know. He doesn't know that. He really doesn't know. He honestly doesn't know.
Is that true? Isn't that the Abrahamic God?
Yes, it is.
God.
It is.
That's the one it was.
I mean, even if you take all three Abrahamic faiths, you take Judaism, you take Christianity and Islam, you go from Hebrew, Aramaic, Hebrew to Syriac, Arabic, you're still going to come with Eloi, Elohim, and then you have the different variations within the Torah, Yahweh, Yireh, different things like that. But in a sense, it's still what we would consider the creator. You know what I mean? The God of creation in any book. So for him to say, well, Allah is just really just one connotation change from Eloi.
It's a different. It's a difference in language, and but he says, listen, I said I believe in Allah because Allah is Satan. So and this guy's supposed to be a Bible scholar.
No, he's not a Bible scholar at all. He's not even a Sunday school teacher. He's not.
Look, don't let him. Look, this man taught Sunday school before he was born. Like, let him tell you.
Yeah, he's going around saying God is Satan. They are one. Now we got, instead of the trilogy, we got the Fantastic Four.
Well, I can kind of go with that. The Bible and Quranic stories are like comic book stuff, so he might have a point. I don't know. He might have a point. But listen, y'all. Before we get off into the troll day, let's talk about Paris, man. Can we switch to Paris? What's going on with Paris and the economy, man? And, they said they're trying to, they over there rioting again. They're over there killing each other because do y'all think something like America, it's going, because money is an issue, man. Money is an issue. Economy is an issue.
Well, just to let everyone know,
food prices.
What's happening in Paris? Paris has pretty much $6 a gallon gas or whatever. It's really man. And like something like 90% of the price of gas happens to do with taxes. So that's the way they tax. A lot of the majority of their taxes come from gas. So the government now says it's making a greener policy and instituting another 25-cent tax on gas. So that tax, people are rioting because they're saying it's a poor tax. Since everybody uses gas, you're taxing everybody 25 cents, where you could just tax the rich, a small amount of number of the rich, and get the same money. So right now, the people are revolting, saying, number one, their taxes are too damn high because you're talking about like $6. Oh, actually, it's six euros, so it's like $8 here for a gallon of gas, which is a lot. And then on top of that, they're adding more tax to poor people. And not to the rich. So because again, if you're rich, you got one car, you're paying the same amount more or less in gas than I am. You know what I'm saying? We're not really paying that big of a difference. So do you think this is and so that's why people are revolted. They're saying the country's not working for them.
That's terrible, man.
So rather than trying to like reallocate funds, they just trying to just add taxes to fix stuff, because I mean that would be very popular here in the States, because this actually something like this would be fuel for certain political parties to say, well, you know what, just continuously taxing people don't solve anything. So I think that's actually pretty interesting, and I think that'll pass. Like they've
already passed it. They already passed it. It's coming into effect. That's why people are rioting. It's done.
Well, I mean the turmoil.
Right,
I think the turmoil, I should say, will come to pass. I don't think it's as bad as what Greece was going through a few years back, when I think they had like really bad hyperinflation, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, they did. They did.
Like, it was bad.
But that's I think we're in the midst of a big bubble too. It's like the housing bubble that we just can't see, because Trump's the only thing they did was inject all that free money. They dropped the business tax rate from 36% to 21%. That's a lot of money they put on the table, and that's I want to see how it happens, because they were talking about 5 and 6% interest. Not interest rate, and inflation. They were not inflation, GDP. So 5 to 6% GDP. And we could barely hit 3. I want to see how it actually goes.
Right.
Yeah, that's the thing. I'm trying to look up actually what's going on here in my other screen. Yeah, it says President Emmanuel Macron returned to France Sunday from a summit in Argentina to find his country in turmoil after surveying destruction for himself, even as his government declaring a state of emergency. Like that's bad. Yeah, and they folks call themselves the Yellow Vests, largely made up of working class people angry about planned increases in fuel tax, left burning cars, smashed store windows in several of the wealthiest neighborhoods in Paris.
That's what they should have did with the LA riots. But the LA riot, they should have went to Beverly Hills and them places and rioted. You can't, that's what the French are doing. They're being smart about it. You don't destroy your own community. You go out there to the communities of people who you want to be angry with.
Yeah. Go knock on. You can do that now. Knock on Chris Brown's door. Start swinging on everybody. You start swinging.
Oh, that's right.
But man, I don't know if something like that'll happen here. Kind of, people talk about the poor eating the rich and that sort of thing, and to be wary. I think in other
you don't think this country, in some kind of way, because it seems like we losing Social Security. It seems like the dollar is actually, for the last 20, 30 years, the U.S. dollar has been losing its value. It don't seem like the ceiling. It don't seem like we got a ceiling to it. Like we're getting worse and worse. So, what you think? What you think might happen? We're gonna just keep going to war with people taking their oil and to stay on top, basically.
Yeah, I think things can definitely get worse. But one of my kind of I don't know, cynical views on it is that I think there's a lot of folks online that are just about a lot of talk. They'll talk about eating the rich, and when stuff gets tough, they'll go out and do what they have to do. Maybe a small fraction, like some of them will sit and suffer and just struggle as long as they need to struggle until things get better. But you have some folks and some of these European countries where turmoil is what their countries were founded on. Hundreds of years before America was even a thing. So that's something that they've been bred into, and they have a remarkably strong history in it, rather than a relatively brief one as we have in this country. But that's not to downplay the shit that's happening, because we know that there's some shit that went down. But I think that you compare the shit that we talk about and the shit that happens in like Turkey and the shit that happens like here in France, that people not gonna get Twitter fingers, they're gonna get AK fingers, and shit's gonna get real sticky when the shit hits the fan.
Exactly. Okay, I guess I'll do one request from the Snapchat from your favorite troll, Jesus Lord. He asked me, we were talking. He asked me.
Got you on Snap, man?
Huh?
You said you got you on Snapchat?
No. He asked me in the chat. The chat.
Oh.
I'm about to say,
that's a little too personal right there.
You
follow me on Snapchat.
Show me your diploma, bro. Let me see that.
What the hell pitches you guys straight?
He asked me something. He asked me 2 questions. He asked us 2 questions. He asked us,
said, "Dear Imp, when you stand up, do your balls click?"
Right. Yeah, that's probably something he would want to ask. He asked about the Donald Trump. I don't know if y'all, asked about. I don't know why he asked me something about Donald Trump. I don't know, like you talk about this clown.
That's his daddy, man. He wants you to talk about him.
Yeah, but yeah, he asked me he said, what do I think about the Trump? Y'all have y'all heard about this new shit that Trump trying to do, replace EBT with food boxes?
The food. Someone said something about that. They get like MREs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it will cut back on a lot of money as far as all of the people that's on welfare, but as far as getting food anyway. But it's like to me, you're just sending out boxes. You're not giving people a choice what they want to buy. You know, it's like
to the fucking meal level too. Like, yo, you got
it's like one size fits all type shit. Like you get this box of potatoes and cereal. You get so I don't know,
don't let's not feel like y'all ain't never had none of that government cheese though.
Yeah,
I still remember the taste of that as Wick milk.
Hey,
I still remember.
What the fuck was in the government cheese? That shit was good and grits, man.
That shit would never melt though. That shit was like the unmeltable super.
It's plastic.
Cheese.
That's what was in it. It was plastic. Shit.
Yeah, I know what the
That's
fuck
why
was
it
in
won't melt.
But that shit was good as a motherfucker though. I had to kick in some government cheese.
That shit was good, man. That was some good shit.
Hopefully that's what they sent them. They sent them some government cheese. And then,
but that's what Trump trying to do. I guess he proposed it. I guess I don't know. But they're talking about. They're saying it will cut like $50-60 million off the budget. Damn, let me cut that down.
Would it? I mean, I would have to look at some numbers, like because when he starts saying things, I kind of tune out.
I know. You're right. You're right.
When he starts giving me numbers, and they're kind of like not even numbers, it's like he vaguely references a comparison between numbers. I'm like, no. I think I can figure out which number is bigger than the other number. So I want you to put it somewhere where I can see it, so I can make this determination. And if I don't know, I know some folks who are pretty good with motherfucking numbers, better than he is. So that's what I want.
Did y'all see what's his name? Sacha Baron Cohen. It was some other comedian that he went to Republicans, and he just was like just say crazy shit and say Trump did it, and they would believe it. Like it just came out. Trump had sex with a midget, and they'll be like, do you have a comment? Like some crazy shit because they believe that it's like possibly true because fucking Trump.
That sounds like some Sacha Baron Cohen shit.
Anything that Trump do is true and shit.
So CRISPR brings up a great point. Have y'all ever seen the price of like one? Because I've had MREs and I still use them to this day.
MREs?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Do y'all know how much one meal MREs cost?
What?
About $17-18.
Damn. Oh, wow. What comes in them? What comes in them actually?
So you get it's a protein, a starch, and sometimes some type of vegetable, depending on which one you get. And let's say my favorite, that wasn't the favorite of everyone else, was a chicken pesto pasta. Now it sounds fucking delicious, but it looks like if you ever seen that green baby food, and after they throw it up, that's what it looks like. But that's you can put that cheese in it and heat it up on a rock or something. And it tastes pretty doggone good. They put hot sauce in there. They put some type of seasoning in there sometimes, but that's for keeping people fed for the most amount of calories and to make sure your ass is not going to the bathroom. Now, when you eat MREs for years, you will end up having liver problems. My two in-laws, my father-in-law and mother-in-law can tell you when you eat that shit for years, it fucks with you. You will then have people who are on these programs being fed by the government having liver issues and other medical issues because MREs aren't designed to be eaten long term. They're designed for war fighters for a short period of time, right? So when people are talking about this stuff and they think it's cheap, go to a PX, go to a commissary if you ever get a chance and try and buy not a box, just one MRE. That shit's expensive. MRE is meals ready to eat. Therefore, and it says on the bag, for war fighters, not for average Joe, not because you hungry and lazy.
But you got all these people who think it's gonna be some type of takeover one day. All of these damn, these anti-government people, these pro anti-Russia. They think it's gonna be so they stacking their house up. You got people actually stacking their basement up with these MREs and cases of water and all this type of bullshit.
Preppers. Yeah.
What's the shelf life for the MRE?
You can keep MREs for years. Like that, the way that they're packaged, they'll stay like that for years. But you think about something that's biodegradable, and you're keeping it, you're putting preservatives and all types of stuff in it to keep it on the shelf, for years potentially, and then you consume that for years and years and years and years and years. That's not the ideal scenario, but the people who are, supporting this type of thing, from what I've heard, typically aren't folks who have eaten MREs or who really understand what they are. Now, if they have some type of ready-to-eat meals that aren't MREs, that are not the ones from Red River, whatever it is, Wisconsin or Missouri, wherever the fuck they're made.
Right.
If there's something else, then maybe. But I would love to see someone who actually understands what they're made of and actually has a comprehensive understanding of the long-term implications of this stuff to have that conversation, not Joe Schmo who couldn't be bothered to go join and eat a damn MRE his damn self.
I ain't charity say Spam is a war food, but delicious.
You can do some stuff with Spam, but if you got to.
Spam. Oh, amazing! Did y'all eat that shit growing up? Man?
When I was young, yeah. When I was young, because I had my guardian was old, like he was old, but he would fry us. He'd take that Spam.
Man, that shit used to be good as hell. You fry it up, put it between some mayonnaise and bread, man.
That's what we used to do. We used to have Spam sandwiches.
Man, that shit used to be good as shit.
Yeah. I mean, I don't eat it now because my wife can't stand the smell of it. And
I don't even eat pork now, but I'm just saying, wow. I just remember Sabella said spam is gross. Sabella, I was just about to send you a whole case of Spam. Matter of fact, it's probably done left the damn post office. Sabella.
Hey, Lucifer is right. Hawaiians, for some reason, they love Spam. There was a Hawaiian barbecue place back on base, and they had all types of crazy, concoctions and mahi and this, that, and the other. Which mahi ain't that crazy, but you expect that from a Hawaiian place. It's a fish. It's just a fish. It's fish. But one of the things on there was like fried Spam. I was like, what the fuck? I can go home and do that. I didn't know how to spell mahi until I came here, man. What the fuck? No. Some Spam.
That shit probably was good as hell, though, Nate.
Oh, yeah. Oh, hell yeah. I'll take some fried Spam. I'm all right with that.
You ain't too good for fried Spam, man? I'm thinking you over here, you get nothing but surf and turf. Nothing but surf and turf.
I'm a fried Spam type of guy. But I'm saying I grew up on that type of shit. You know what I'm saying? Fried Spam. Because it was the old school, sardines out the can. And I still
do that.
Yeah, hell yeah.
I hate having to take out all the bones because I hate the bones. So I'm like doing surgery
I eat the
on
bones.
the fucking.
But y'all have the bone. You got to eat the bones, man.
Nah, I take the motherfuckers out. I be fucking like a surgeon, taking each little fucking bone out. Nah.
Hey,
man,
I
don't like the sardines, the ones that already be in the hot sauce. I like to put my own hot sauce. I just get the plain sardines. Like the ones that be in the hot mustard and all that, the mustard. No, just give me the plain sardines and I'm gonna kill them.
Man, look, my wife puts sardines in her grits. You ever seen that?
Oh yeah, I've heard that.
That might be a South Carolina thing. I've never seen nobody put no sardines because I put shrimp in my grits.
That's good shit. I put shrimp in my grits too.
But I ain't never seen nobody put sardines. I was like,
you guys got a fascination with grits. Shrimp and grits?
Yeah, you ain't never heard that before? That's a delicacy down here.
That man in New York, man, they don't know shit. They don't know it's.
We put cheese in our grits, cheese and all that.
Yeah,
shit,
well, that's low level, man. You gotta step up and put some shrimp. Put some shrimp in them grits
and a little cheese. That's the best shit.
Yeah, I put cheese. We put cheese in the grits.
Oh yeah, but Nate was telling me. Now let me see if you heard of this. Nate was telling me that they put honey in the collard greens.
I put either honey or sugar. But just not.
Yeah,
I've
heard of the sugar. I've never heard of the honey.
Yeah, not a lot though. But either honey or sugar.
Never heard of that. Man, I'm gonna text my mama right now and ask about that because I've never.
Boda say any of y'all still eat the chicken cartilage? Of course.
Yeah, I eat the chicken cartilage.
Oh yeah. Shrimp and grits, man. Yeah, you gotta try some shrimp and grits, man.
Well, I got some shrimp here, and I got to get some grits. I just haven't had grits in a long time. It's like you know what?
Got to
It's
be the
funny.
right shrimp, not no tiger shrimp, not no big jumbo shrimp. Just
And prawns, man. And
Yeah.
prawns.
right. Not no jumbo, just some nice little small.
And it's a little hard to get them from around here because it's like hard to go into a diner in New York and be like, can I get some grits? It was, some places be like, what, grits?
You know, every time I come up there, man, I try to find some little Cajun Creole place, and they be, having these big old fucking gigantic monster shrimp in here. I'm like, man, did y'all go and spearfish that out, man? How y'all get this one? Y'all better give me the medium, regular ass Gulf shrimp.
I know that's all we need, just a regular small Gulf shrimp, man. Mississippi, Louisiana Delta shrimp. You know what I mean?
Shit. I'm sorry, y'all got 3 black dudes on live talk. We're gonna talk about food at some point. I'm sorry.
Oh yeah, hell yeah. That's just point blank.
Damn, now I'm fucking want to eat now. I got me hungry.
Matter of fact, I'm glad y'all reminded me. I do need to go buy some honey. I keep honey. I don't know if y'all notice or not, but honey is basically like a natural medicine for damn near anything.
Oh yeah.
For colds, at least it helps out a lot. I don't care what it is, man. Colds, Ebola,
Take a shot of honey. Take a shot of honey. You can tell people that because they're gonna be playing this clip. Emperor Atheist, endorses honey for AIDS. Like what?
Yes, I do. I'm gonna have a picture of me with a thumb up.
Rub some dirt on that shit.
If you catch Ebola, rub some dirt on that shit and get you a spoon of honey.
No, I use honey for honey lemon tea for sore throat.
Oh yeah, man.
All the time. All day, every day. All day. Oh, somebody just sent me a message. They say our favorite ID proponent is live now. Gotta bring your topic.
Who?
Oh, he put the hangout link too.
You do
True.
Nah.
To what?
True. He just want people to come in and talk to him.
Yeah.
About intelligent doodoo.
But
about anything.
He don't listen though. But that's the problem. If he listened, maybe you can have a conversation. But he don't listen, and it's funny. It's weird because I feel like he's trapped. He's trapped in
the
a
closet?
conversation that he fucking doesn't know what to do.
Damn. I was thinking about R. Kelly.
We're gonna let that one pass over.
Yes, but you know what though? It's like I almost feel bad for the guy. Well,
what do you think? He's got some type of psychological dilemma going on here?
You know what I think, and this is just going to be honest. I think it's just a guy who got on the internet, found the great debate community, and next thing you know, he's speaking to PhDs. He's speaking to Aaron Ra. He's speaking to all these top level guys, and they're talking about his ideas and intelligent design. This guy who was so smart that he looked at a chemistry book and said he's too smart for the class. That guy was being talked to by PhD scientists.
Yeah, man.
You solidified his name in the community. I'm the guy. When creationists say you want to talk to somebody about ID, you talk to true empiricism because he is the expert.
Right.
He talks to PhDs. He tells them what to say. He is the man.
Right. He the man.
But the funny thing is that dragging everybody else know that the game is up. You don't know what you talking about. He just don't. He just do not. And the fact of the matter is, I'm honestly now starting to think that he's more dishonest than I suspect. Because the way he refuted my argument against trees is the way people have been refuting his argument for years. He literally used the argument that he knows refutes his argument to refute the fact that I said about the thing about the fake trees. And the fact that he knows that shows us either extreme cognitive dissonance or he just doesn't want to realize what's true. And that his argument is bullshit.
Oh yeah,
Go ahead, Drag.
He has a weird inferiority complex, huge. I mean, anytime, because I was talking to folks about this before. I think I actually probably mentioned it in my hangout. Anytime you talk about, whatever it is that we're talking about, it doesn't matter because I'm about to say science. It don't be science because he tried to do philosophy at one point. That was hilarious. You tell him, it's like, man, where are you getting this information from? He gets mad. Because if I come up with you some bullshit and I say, well, there's 50 books in the Bible, he said, M said, no, Drag, man, I said 66 books. What are you talking about? Where you getting that information from? You want to know if I'm reading the wrong stuff and or I'm just mistaken. But for him, he takes that as an affront. You talking about me? You saying I don't know how to do research, and it's so weird because he gets hostile. He gets mad hostile. Then he starts trying to stunt on folks, man. He literally so I'm gonna have to explain. So I'm trying to think of a way to translate stunting on folks. So if y'all just gonna have to get the context, I ain't explain that shit. Go Urban Dictionary. So he tried to stunt on folks one day, man. We were bullshitting in his live chat. This dude, like, he's just mentioning all the stuff that he thinks is like that makes him seem cool. Sam the scientist says, well, you know what? My dad played on a baseball team, with the son. I think it was Larry Doby Jr. He played Larry Doby's son. Larry Doby, yeah. So Sam dad played on the same, baseball team as him. Just being silly. This dude True reads that out and goes, my dad can bench over 500 pounds. So now my daddy is better than your daddy? Right. That, like he being serious too. And I'm like, man, what is wrong with you? Are you a grown ass man or not? But let me tell you something. Yeah. Do you believe that True? Because I know you love philosophy, man. Yeah. I know you love philosophy. You know what solipsism is, right?
Yes.
Do you want me to pass this link?
Oh, the solipsism or inner solipsism?
The solipsism one, because I know Imp ain't seen this. Oh, do you want to hear him explain to you what solipsism is?
Oh my God. No, I really don't. But yeah, just pass it anyway. You know what? Matter of fact, me and Nate was talking about solipsism the other day, and he was saying something about Nate, did you tell me something about true empiricism? Was saying something
that
about
was solipsism? It. That's what I was telling you.
That's it. About to play. Go ahead and play.
System of solipsism.
I put it in chat. It's there. Now I want everybody, if y'all have never seen this clip, I provide the whole video later. It's on Alex Botton's channel. So if y'all think True gets hyped when he talks about science, you just wait till you hear him talk about philosophy. Just this topic.
Oh, yeah. Sabella says, hell. Sabella says funny. I got to hear it.
Hold on.
You playing it? You gonna play it, Drag?
I'm gonna play it right now. Hold on.
Oh, okay, cool.
This episode is brought to y'all today by Shea Butter. Rub it on your ashy ankles. Unlike me.
All right, here we go.
In the closet.
Give me 2 seconds. I gotta get stupid second screen is acting up. All right, here we go, guys.
To understand it. I don't know how much easier I can make that for you to understand. The issue with solipsism is this, and what I just brought to your attention was very clear. We have the issue of solipsism. That's why I asked you if you understood what you were saying. You have your mind independently from my mind. Is that clear enough for you to understand it? I don't know how much easier I can make that for you to understand. Your mind, which is independent, exactly, and your mind, which you're looking at from your standpoint, what are you doing? You are subjectively determining reality and assuming that the reality that are objectively just interpreting is the same as my mind, independent from mine. Assuming those things that you're looking at are going to be the same as mine. Do you get what I'm saying?
No, we don't get what you're saying. We absolutely do not.
You just sit through and then just read through that. It makes no goddamn sense at all.
He has a problem relaying points. I mean, he's really confusing when he talks.
But he'll get mad. At you for saying that. I'm dead serious. It's like, True, we didn't understand nothing you just said. And maybe you're not smart enough to understand. It's like, no, bitch, you don't know how to speak. I'm sorry. I graduated middle school. I don't like. And he gets indignant though, man. That's what got, like, when I first came on here, he used to He used to like run the circuit and try and just run game on folk with the ATP bullshit, just going through a script and shit like that.
Right.
Oh, the script.
Oh man, that's when I first saw him. It was him. Neffy's real good for it, and there was another dude, Brett Keane, and they're good for the scripts. There was some other few people kind of doing it too, but not as much. But he was good for it. But then when you get him in a conversation, he tries to just inundate you with like, you know, these lines and shit like that. And so he started having, you know, conversations with folks, or what he thinks is conversations, and he starts doing shit like that. And it's like, how do you respond to gobbledygook? You know, that's no relation to what you're even trying to talk about.
Right.
The sad part is he'll never know it. He'll never know. No. He'll sit there and be in willful ignorance.
I mean, is it willful? Does he really know that he doesn't understand?
Listen, if God came down and said, "Hey, man, you just don't really understand it," even True will say, "Well, then you're a false god."
I think he would. He would debate his own God. He would.
Yeah, he probably would. I mean, it's.
So what have we not covered tonight, Nate? What do you think we haven't not covered?
No.
Paris. You want to go back into ID? I don't think ID is really worth it. What do you think, Drag?
I mean, there's a few simple things that you can do when it comes to ID. If somebody thinks it's science, say fine. You know, there's a bunch of worksheets on it. Actually, I can Google right now. Experimental design worksheet. There we go. I Googled it. Go to images. What's the first thing that pops up? It's some shit from school. Okay, I don't like that first one. Okay, the second one that pops up, experimental design by studylib.net. Okay, if it's legit, put it in that worksheet and show me. You know.
That's right.
I mean, this is for school kids. Well, just the first part. The second part is from mothers. That's just practice writing a hypothesis. But you know, put it in there. Like if you really think it is, and then put it forward. Somebody, they got plenty of people, and it's not an issue of money because there's tons and tons of Christians who honestly believe this shit. So it's not a money issue. So if it is science, if it can be defended, if it can go through the same rigors, then put it through its paces, and don't make all these conspiracies and bullshit. But they don't want to do that. You know,
no, they don't.
When you give them everything, you know, here, I want to believe you. Let's set it up. You know, let's get some scientists together. Let's try it. Every excuse in the world, and you don't want that. You can say, well, you know what? Just tell me what is a hypothesis. Tell me what unique hypothesis exists for intelligent design.
But right. Quick question: Can intelligent design be falsified? Because I was always under the impression that it can't be falsified.
Not that I know of. Like I don't. There's not enough information about what they're trying to even get to.
Exactly.
As a criteria that we could even begin to build a falsification, because you have
That's
to.
Right. That's
you
right.
Would have to at least know. Okay, if I am searching for complexity, but complexity is what I'm using to determine the creator, then like what is the ultimate goal here for the study? Like, am I trying to find
test it? Yeah, what are you testing for?
And that's the thing. So
what are the mechanisms? No mechanisms.
Well, if they want to, let's go with mechanism. If you want to go with mechanism, you first have to demonstrate how the whatever. Well, we won't say deity because that's a bad word, because it could be aliens too. We're going to pretend like it's not
right.
God. So
could be aliens. That's right.
It could be.
Right.
So we'll put entity. So intelligent entity somehow that has not been established yet is working and manipulating its tendrils through reality in some mechanism that we're going to explore to create what we've not defined yet as complexity. So we first need to define our metrics. What is complexity? Is a rock not complex and the backside of a beetle complex? How do we tell the difference between the two? Well, we're going to start there, establish the metric. Okay, cool. So we've established our metric. Well, this mysterious entity, we need to establish that in order to try and figure out whatever mechanism it's using to create things. So there's a few steps that they have to cover first. that they don't want to talk about. They don't want to even get into it. We can even go a bit simpler and then just break down their apprehension, we'll call it that, with evolution, and say, well, I don't like species, I like kinds. Okay, fine, absolutely fine. It's just a label. We can tear it down. How is kind more informative than whatever species concept we got out there?
That's what Kent Hovind liked to do. He liked to go in between two words of kind and species.
Well, he'll say dogs are dogs.
Right.
I don't know what that means.
Why can't we call them dogs?
I don't. So okay. So
and then you'll say that like you don't know what it means. He'll say, you see, I'm debating somebody that doesn't know what dog means. You know that's the tricks they play.
He plays games. He played because when King Crocoduck was debating them, I was talking to King Crocoduck, and I was like, man, you're a better man than me, because the second he starts that stupid shit, I'm gonna say something to him. It's like, bro, you ain't gonna talk to me like that. You are a fucking idiot and a felon. Fuck out of here.
Yeah.
You know. So we'll play that game, and I played this game with Nephilim Free. I played this game with these other cats. Every four-legged animal that looks at me fucking stupid and drools is a dog.
Right, exactly.
It's someone with cats. Oh, okay. So we need a better criteria then, right? Okay, so if it has this length of hair, or whether it shits out its ass in a spiral that goes counterclockwise or clockwise, which one of those we gonna choose? You know, so where does my favorite one? Where does a platypus fit in? Is there a platypus kind?
Hey, that's the worst. That's the worst. That's the you know what, a platypus is probably the best example that there's no God. I mean,
just throw in shit. I got some leftovers. Let me make this thing. You know them things are poison you
why
too.
Why would an intelligent designer make some shit like that?
You know them things can poison you too, right?
Yeah, no, they kill you.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this, Drag. Let me ask you this. What was this intelligent designer thinking about when he made a gnat? What they do?
I want to piss off them humans so bad. These things are gonna kamikaze in everybody's eyes.
How about the bugs? How about the bugs just eat out kids' eyes? What's the little bugs called? They go in there just, you know what I'm talking about, Nate?
Bot flies? You know
they go in kids' eyes and humans out there eat your eye out.
I know the ones in skin. I don't know the ones in eyes.
What's the name of those little bugs? I need to look it up, man.
That's G-Man. That's a G-Man.
That's a G-Man. You're right. He's
a fucking bug. He's down to the bug. He's a bug of the worst kind.
Shit,
G-Man worse than Jesus Lord almost. I don't know which one is worse, man.
You know what I'm gonna start doing? I'm gonna start like whenever I'm in a conversation with Jesus Lord, I'm just gonna say ask the craziest question, and I'm gonna predict his answer, because he just likes to answer like wild. So I might just say something. Who in here has ever worn panties? And he'll say, me, yes, me. And I'll be like, you see, Jesus is Lord's a troll. I just said that because I know he was gonna say yes.
I established it.
He's a hell of a character, man. He really is a hell of a character.
Man, he is some passive aggressive though, man. That's what gets me with him. It's like, man, I got female cousins that ain't bad as you. Like, what is going on with you? Do you need me to sing you some testosterone? What's up, man?
Yeah,
what's going on?
The Christian that says God is really Satan.
The main thing that I don't, this is, and I would just like to see if we could be here another 100 years, man, just to see, like, what would these proponents of ID, that should probably be dead in another 100 years or 70 years. But it's just the thing about it, like, I guess cognitive dissonance or something is maybe something else we need to discover. It's probably worse than cognitive dissonance. That would make them feel like this is a science when majority, and I kept saying this to True. I'm True, you, and he accused me of you, appealing to authority. And I'm like,
now that was one thing I was going to get on you about too, about the appeal to authority. He was wrong when he said that. You know that, right?
No. Yeah, no, and that's why I said that in my video too. I was like, no, appealing to scientific consensus is not appeal to authority. He doesn't know the difference.
But that's not even the fallacy. Is appealing to an authority that's not an authority, though.
Right.
Like if you're appealing to the authority, to the person who's actually the people who are qualified to do that, that's not appeal to an authority. That's right. Something.
And I kept telling him that. He kept, you're appealing to. I said, no, that's not appealing to authority. True. I just didn't want to get off into fallacies because he probably don't understand logical fallacies.
Like, what? So it's not appeal to authority.
I try to keep it on track. I said I'm appealing to the highest scientific consensus in the world. I mean, these people say that intelligent design is pseudo, and I'm asking you to show why they're wrong. Show me why they're wrong. Show me your scientific method that intelligent design is real. He avoided all my questions. And you let him keep doing it, Nate. You just allowed him to keep avoiding all my questions.
Hey, you guys were having a back and forth.
It was fun, though. It was fun.
I just let you guys go at it. Matter of fact, I was starting to write stuff down, but then when he got like he took a deep breath, the ATP synthesis. I was like, "Fuck this! I'm just going to sit back and listen." When he took that deep breath, I knew he was gone. He was going for it. I was like, "Shit."
Okay, so I don't want to jump subject, but since Drag did miss this part. Let me ask you, Drag. I don't know, what did you think of George W. Bush Sr.? What did you think about his legacy? What did you think about it?
I don't know. It's for me, that was definitely before my time.
Oh,
I only
okay.
know what my parents told me, so my 2 cents is going to be a bit shaded. So
okay.
What I understand, he appealed to his base. And but there were some other good things. But I do think that it deserves to be talked about. It deserves to be explored more, because I had recently learned about George Bush Jr. and what he did for Texas as governor, and
Right.
I gained appreciation for him. So I'm pretty sure he learned a lot of that from his father. So I'm pretty sure that I could easily credit that that amount of skill and political savvy to that family tradition.
And the reason I say that, man, I like to give other presidents props, which is good. This is why I'm thankful for Donald Trump. This is why I thank Donald Trump for winning, because he actually shows how the rest of the presidents were real presidents.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? I mean, the things that he's doing. You know what I mean? Like I say, if you don't make a 360, which he probably won't, he just looked real. He's making that whole office look terrible. You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, I mean, that's what people want. That's what they. I mean, I see people, glorifying, having no fucking class, not knowing what the hell you're talking about, and then just deriding folks because you don't like them. But it's like, fuck, 8 years ago, y'all were talking about, how we need to bring class back to the White House, and how aggressive, certain comments were. It's like, man, y'all all of a sudden, balls dropped or something. Like what happened over the course of a few years, man? It's just seeing a lot of inconsistency with how this person is characterized as opposed to this person, and then when referencing their behavior and social expectations. But we know how that one goes, so I'm not surprised at all about it.
Donald
at
Trump
all.
is the greatest con man the country's ever seen. He is the greatest con man ever, and the only reason why I'm saying that is because of what he's been able to do in terms of not release his tax returns, he's been able to and to keep 1/3 of the country captivated with him, and such as where they would vote for him no matter what. So I don't know what's going on, but there's a reason why he's not showing us his tax returns. There's a reason why he's not why he's not speaking to Vladimir Putin. There's reasons why these things are happening. And I just hope that those reasons aren't the reasons that most people think of him being blackmailed or them having something on him. Because if that's the case, then we're in trouble.
Yeah, we're in big trouble.
Yeah, but hey, folks get what they want, so I'm all for it. I'm here for fireworks. I love it. I'm waiting for this intelligent designer to come out the sky and design some shit. Wait for that too.
He designs trees, but True Empiricism said you can't use that argument till he doesn't design trees. I'm like, I thought he designed everything. I'm thinking, what? The guy doesn't design trees. I thought he was an intelligent designer.
So he just didn't design trees, though. He didn't do the trees. He did everything else except the trees.
Matter of fact, I was making the argument, a better argument for trees than he was for turbines.
It's terrible, man.
It's not hard, man.
That's terrible, man. It's pathetic.
In the 6-7 years I known this dude, his script ain't changed at all. So it's not hard to find inconsistencies.
No,
it's easy to pick them apart. Yeah.
And it's funny because I remember just watching and reading about the Dover trial. It just was it's interesting to see how science is really done, and like professionals in the field answer these creationist claims, because that's what they had to do. They had to answer these creationist claims and say, first they had to say, and the judge had to sit there and listen. So it was just kind of like, this is how we do our work.
They destroyed them, man.
Here are the fossils from the ground. You know what I'm saying? You see this? We see this here. We see this here. We see this here. We're inferring this from here, and this is why we know this to be true. And the judge, he's like, he's a he believes in evolution now. Well, listen, that shit's true. The motherfuckers showed it to me.
But I did ask True. I said, and it shocked me here, Drag. I asked True. I said, I was just trying to see where he was at. I said, man, do you believe that the Earth is 6,000 years old? He didn't believe that. So I'm like, I wanted to go further, like why you don't believe that.
But then the number he gave was still bad. His number was 50 million years. The Earth is 4.5 billion years old. He said 50 million. He's still old.
Yeah, you still.
He doesn't.
Like 50 million years, you're like 4 billion years old, 4.4 billion years old.
He really doesn't. Yeah. I'm trying to.
It's true.
He's
like, he's a slightly young creationist.
Right.
The dinosaurs walking about 50 million years ago.
I mean, I wish I could.
The Cretaceous period was 60. I just didn't want to get off into that, man.
He said the universe started 50 million.
I was ready to go, really.
When he said that and you let it go, I was like, well, damn, me and him gotta have a conversation about this. Because 50 million is the wrong number, god damn it.
There we go.
Oh boy.
Yeah, man, look, I wish I could tell y'all that he knows better. Like I wish I could just say, he just kind of got it wrong. He was just throwing out a number. Y'all don't know how many times we didn't had this damn conversation with this dude. It's sad. Like we've had this exact conversation.
Did y'all see the Skylar Fiction video? The one where he says Trump made 50 billion jobs, and they're like, there's only 7 billion people on the planet. How the fuck did Trump make 50 billion jobs? So
this dude ain't good with numbers, is he? He's not.
Bruh, did y'all see a few years back when he won Dumb Fuck of the Year when he was trying to talk about statistics?
I didn't see that yet. I need to see that too.
So evidently sample size don't exist to him. So in order to get an accurate sample size, and Nate, I don't know when the last time, or it was one of y'all last time y'all took some statistics, there's a certain special number that you gotta have. I mean, let me give you a hint. It's less than 50, but there's a certain number that you gotta have in order to have a good sample size.
I thought it was like 1,082 for polls or something like that, right? For like polls. Or maybe the
no. Well, this is just for doing a sample. I think the number is actually like 30. If I'm not mistaken, someone feel free to correct me, but I want to say the number is actually 30. But for True, he says in order to have an accurate statistic, you need to poll everybody, every single last person, every last one of them. And I said, he didn't say that.
Fucking joke, man.
He went back and forth with negation of P, and negation of P, like that's like part of his background. It's like doing statistics and stuff like that. And so
negation of P told me, he said, Emperor, do not debate this clown. I said, I have to, man, just for fun. just to get the badge, because he did it, man. He debated him, and it was bad. It got so bad. I can't. Everybody say negation of P destroyed him, though.
Oh, it was bad.
I heard it was real bad.
Ned gave him everything. Ned said, you got an intelligent designer. Boom. You got everything. Get me there. Explain how it works. He kept repeating the same thing.
He was using the same shit he's saying to me?
He can't. Yeah. But here's the thing. You were arguing with him, though. You weren't giving him shit, right? Ned gave him everything, and he kept repeating the same shit. Because he had, and we come up with a way to describe it. He had no step 2. There is no step 2 to it. All he can do is just argue the points when people say, no, you're wrong. But he doesn't know how to actually get people there who agree with him.
Wow.
And it showed.
So that was a good technique Ned used then.
Yeah, it should still be up on this channel. I'll find it later. But it was very enlightening, because I was like, why is Ned doing this? And I didn't realize it until afterwards. And so Ned said, yeah, I'm giving you everything. I want to believe you. Show me how to get there. And he could not do it, man. And he got mad.
So basically he was making True really expound on the scientific method of how this is real.
Well, they're trying to, and he couldn't do it. And I think he realized later, because he saw the chat, and people were commenting that it's like, wow, like people were genuinely shocked that this is a whole, like, what True does on here is a charade. And it took me a few years to even figure that out. Damn. He is on here to be, I'm calling like it is. Like, he can be mad at me, but
no, I'm saying he had me fooled for a couple of years too. I'm like, this guy's a fucking good ass con man. He got us both fooled.
He does this because his, like, he can't be a scientist. He can't do the shit that I'm doing, you know. And that's why I stun on him all day long, because I'm about that life. But he wants to, like, I call him
about that science life, bitch.
You know, he ain't about that life. Like, he wants to be. He wants that respect. Like, because when you listen to all these other clowns on here and say, oh yeah, True knows about science. I said, really? How about he come up to my lab?
Right.
Done. I say, hey, you can come in, because I've shown. I was like, I can film in there. I still got access. That's nothing. Don't even worry about it. I got you. You know. But I said, well, True, if you're so passionate about this stuff, my man, why ain't you doing what I'm doing? Why ain't you where I'm at? Because me and you started at the same time, but one of us got a different path than the other. How'd that happen? And like, don't like when it get personal like that, but then he started running his mouth, talking about who ain't doing nothing, and, you know, who's fake and who's real and this like that. And it's like, you know, if you want to bring it to like that and make it be, you know, get down and dirty, I have no problem. But like I said, if you want something to be science and you're passionate about it, you're not just going to sit on the internet and talk about it. And that's all this dude does, is get on here and recite the same stuff that's not even remotely correct about nothing, and then thinking he's doing something. And so people who are just now kind of viewing it are now kind of wondering, like, well, Drag, you know, what, you know, they asking me questions because he's not going to answer them. You know, I'll tell you right now, he's on here to pretend to be somebody he's not. He's on here to pretend to be a layman guru, you know, just kind of a background savant.
I think that kind of about G-Man too. I think G-Man is kind of like slowly, like, kind of retarded a little bit, and I think YouTube has kind of saved his life a little bit. I think it has.
Yeah, it gives a meaning.
Think about this though. Let's see, and I hate to say this about poor G-Man, but G-Man was a guy who's working in the basement of a hardware store. I'm just saying, you know, probably the only college degree he ever saw was probably on TV, you know, that type of thing. So this guy's not really having intellectual conversation. He's not an intellectual heavyweight. And you know, he probably got a computer and a webcam and had a captive audience, people who wanted to hear this maniac from New Jersey spout nonsense all day. For the entertainment value, not for the value of his intellect, but just for the entertainment value. And over the years, it just seemed to have been working. But I think at the end of the day, you got to just know somebody who they are. G-Man is a guy who works in the basement of a hardware store, who would generally be speaking his nonsense to any, you know, poor person shopping in the store, but has us as an audience. And as long as people's going to keep watching, he's going to keep throwing it up there, because he thinks it fulfills his life to a point where he can say he means something to somebody. You know, people believe him
because the subscribers, and you hear him talk about it. Like, I don't give a shit about my subscribers. They've been at 2,000 for I don't know how long. I don't care if I get any more. I got real shit I'm doing in real life. I do this shit for fun. But for him, like, this is it. Like, this is his calling. Like, this is what these guys have in life. When people walk past Nephilim Free, they don't know, well, he is Nephi, you know, on YouTube, and he debates evolutionists. Like, they don't think that shit. You know, they don't like, look, who's this fucking toothless bum over here buying some gin like that. That's what it is, and it's the same thing for the other clowns. And then it's funny, because they want to talk about, well, Drag, now who do you think you are? Well, bitch, I'm somebody who PhDs stop in their tracks and talk to.
Exactly.
On any given day, and people, and Xavier can actually attest to that.
We actually hold degrees on this panel. And by the way, I'm actually a very successful promoter and club owner. So
yeah, I'm about to hit up some new clubs, man. I don't even
have time to make these videos no more, man. I done forgot all about my Emperor channel down there. I mean, I be trying to, but it's hard, man. It's really hard.
Yeah, that's it's so difficult. I'm starting to use your technique though a little more, man. Where I just record the videos ahead of time and then just release them later.
Right, that's what I'm telling you. Do you like 3 or 4 at one time? Pick your separate subjects, edit them all, and just release them when you know.
Yeah, I was using Wondershare Filmora, but that shit don't work at all. It's like the worst ever. Don't buy Wondershare Filmora film editor. That shit is the worst. Don't buy it.
Is it? I still got Movavi. I just use Movavi, man. That's all I use.
Yeah, I'm just probably going to do something else because that's.
I'm trying to make sure. I just downloaded something, so let me make sure it's not. You said don't use Wondershare Filmora?
Yes, it is the worst.
God damn it. God damn. So let me go ahead and install it. Yep, sure enough. I just downloaded it too.
No,
Movavi, hey, man, if y'all want to really do some good editing, I say you got to pay for Movavi, but it's expensive. I think like what, $30-some, $40-some, but you got it. You know, it's yours. No, it ain't too bad. It's yours. That's all you got to do. That one-time payment, and what else? That's it. And every time it you know, it gets a new, it updates itself. So it gets new updates. It updates itself. So it's pretty good. It's called Movavi.
Because I'm actually going to probably look into that because right now the one I got, it's this Wondershare Filmora. The problem is, like, say when I do jump cuts, because I like to do jump cuts in my videos. Whenever I do jump cuts, the audio doesn't sync up. So I also, like, my lips, like, it'll be like one of those old Chinese movies.
Right.
And then like the voice would come on, what the hell? Or I'd be like some grunt. I'm like, what? That shit is crazy. What the fuck that shit come from?
All right, 6-8, man. Hey, y'all, I'm about to get out of here, man. We got any more last words, man? Want to holler at the chat? Tell them goodbye for the night or what?
Any questions, folks?
Anybody got any questions before we end this particular cast?
Yeah, because speaking of truth, this is him and what he wants people to see him as. So I want to make sure people understand.
What? What the hell is this?
Can y'all even see that?
No, they can't. They can't see that because you're on Zoom. They can't see it.
Oh, Zoom. Oh, let me take it out of Zoom. Okay, there we go.
No. It's the way Zoom is.
Oh, it's the way. It's the program. Yeah, I thought it was Zoom. Oh shit. Okay, I can't do it. All right, never mind.
You can't do it. If we were on Hangouts, you could do it.
Oh, thought I could screen share. Anyway, that's all right. Sorry, folks. I broke the Hangout. My bad. I tried to show y'all a funny picture of True and the meme we used to make of him and his internet presence. But I mean, you know, as much shit as I talk about the dude, you know, a part of me feels sad for him. And like, this will be my last word. So I got to get off because I actually got to do shit tomorrow. You know, Imp got, you know, promotions and shit to do. If y'all ain't seen some of the promotions, y'all might want to hit him up and check out Atlanta.
Well, you know, I actually got a spot. I'm on my way to Texas, man. Got a New Year's party I'm doing in Texas, so I'm on my way to Houston. So that probably, I'm not sure, we probably gonna meet up.
Yeah, let me know. Let me know.
Yeah, I got a spot in Houston I'm doing, man. Because I don't know if you're familiar with Jazz Prince Jr.
Oh, he is in Houston.
That's Jay Prince's son.
Oh.
Yeah. The the guy who found Drake. He found Drake. Jazz Prince.
Yeah, I know of Dre Prince through Pimp C and Master P.
Right.
And that thing. So anyway, yeah.
Well, Jazz Prince Jr. They throwing something, and one of my partner promoters out of he's really out of the same place as Pimp C from. He's from not Houston, but right outside of Houston, where Pimp C and Bun B from. Port Arthur. He's from Port Arthur, Texas. Yeah. So we got this little club in Port Arthur. We're gonna bang out. So that'll be like January the 3rd. So we still gonna make it like a New Year's party though.
Okay.
So January the 3rd in Houston, and I'm doing something in Miami too. I'm trying to do something in Miami after that. Yeah. It's gonna be a naked twerk contest. We're getting with $1,000 for that.
Oh, I'm gonna have to ask my wife if I can come to that one, man.
I need to win it. I want to win $1,000.
Oh yeah, man.
Yo,
you gotta.
This is for the fellas. This is Nate. Take care, and for Dragon Emperor Atheist, we'll see you next week on 3 Black Heathen Show.
Peace.
Later.